He was on top of the world. Fast, fierce, unstoppable. A rising legend who made martial arts look like poetry. But then, it happened. A sudden injury. A doctor's cold words. You may never walk again, let alone fight. The world thought it was over. But Bruce Lee? He wasn't built like the rest of us. This is not just the story of a comeback. It's the story of a man who stared down fate, pain, and doubt, and kicked them all in the face. This is the untold journey of how Bruce Lee rose again, stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than ever. When people hear the name Bruce Lee, they think of speed, precision, power, and confidence. They picture the man who could kick so fast, cameras had to slow down just to capture it. They imagine the martial arts legend, the actor, the philosopher, the man who changed how the world viewed fighting forever. But what most people don't realize is that Bruce Lee's most incredible fight didn't happen in a movie. It didn't happen in the ring. It happened in silence, away from the spotlight, in a hospital room, in his own mind. This is the story of a moment Bruce Lee almost lost everything, and how he came back stronger than ever. This is the comeback that defined his legacy. In 1970, Bruce was a rising star. He had already made a splash with his role as Kato in The Green Hornet, and he was training hard every day, teaching students, building his own martial art, Jeet Kune Do. He was on the edge of something huge. But there was one thing he never did. He never stopped. Bruce didn't believe in rest days. He didn't believe in limits. If something pushed most people to 100%, Bruce pushed it to 150%. His workouts were intense. His goals were relentless. He wanted perfection, not just in movement, but in mind, in philosophy, in life. One day, Bruce attempted an intense exercise known as the Good Morning, a barbell lift where you bend forward with the weight resting on your shoulders. It's an advanced movement, dangerous if done incorrectly or with too much weight. Bruce, being Bruce, loaded it heavy and didn't warm up. And that's what happened. In a flash, something tore. A bolt of pain shot through his lower back. He collapsed. At first, he thought it was a simple strain, but it wasn't. Doctors told him the news no martial artist, no athlete, no warrior ever wants to hear. He had seriously damaged his sacral nerve. The diagnosis? He might never be able to perform martial arts again. In fact, some doctors said he might not walk normally for the rest of his life. Can you imagine that? Being told the thing that defines you, the very thing you've built your life around, is gone, taken from you in an instant. Most people would give up. Most people would spiral into depression, self-pity, fear. But not Bruce. Bruce Lee was crushed, but he was not broken. For the next 6 months, Bruce was confined to a bed, lying flat, no training, no sparring, no flying kicks or explosive punches, just stillness, silence, and pain. But in that silence, Bruce Lee did something incredible. He turned inward. He didn't just rehab his body. He rebuilt his philosophy. He began to write, to reflect, to analyze every principle he believed in. He started writing what would become the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, not as a book to publish, but as a way to save his mind. He studied martial arts theory. He broke down movement. He explored ideas from Western boxing, fencing, Wing Chun. He took notes. He scribbled drawings. He laid down the roots of his legacy. In that bed, Bruce transformed Jeet Kune Do from a physical art to a mental one. And slowly, something changed. His mind grew sharper. His spirit grew stronger. And his body, broken as it was, started to heal. Recovery wasn't easy. It took months of small steps. Stretching, breathing, relearning how to move without pain. But Bruce approached it like he approached everything, with relentless discipline. He created his own rehab routines. He experimented with diet, supplements, training methods. He didn't just want to heal. He wanted to evolve. Friends who visited him during that time said Bruce was different, calmer, more focused. His intensity was still there, but now it was balanced with wisdom. He had seen the edge. He had faced the possibility of never moving the same again, and it had deepened him. Bruce realized something. The body is fragile, but the will is not. And then he stood. He walked. He trained. slowly at first, then faster. He began hitting the bag again, throwing kicks, sparring, testing his limits. And when he returned, when he finally came back, it wasn't to the same Bruce Lee. It was to something more. He wasn't just fast, he was intelligent. He wasn't just powerful, he was philosophical. The injury hadn't ended his journey. It had refined it. By 1971, Bruce had not only recovered, he had launched into the most successful phase of his life. He starred in The Big Boss, a martial arts film that made him a superstar in Asia. Then came Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, and of course, Enter the Dragon. His fame exploded. But behind every high kick and every dramatic slow-motion moment on screen was a man who had once been told he might never walk again. Bruce never forgot that. He once said, "Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one." That wasn't just a quote. That was his story. That injury, what could have been the end, became his greatest teacher. It taught him patience. It taught him discipline beyond ego. It taught him to harness the power of the mind when the body fails. Even after recovering, Bruce never trained the same. He trained smarter, more mindfully. He understood the cost of overtraining. He realized that mastery isn't just about how hard you hit, but how deeply you understand yourself. He developed a unique way of moving, of expressing power, of flowing in combat. And that unique rhythm, that balance of explosion and grace, is what we still admire today. He also became more philosophical. In interviews, he spoke of emptiness, formlessness, awareness. He read more, wrote more, shared more. The injury had connected him with the deeper part of martial arts, the art that lives beyond the body, the art of being fully present, fully alive. What's even more amazing is that Bruce didn't tell the world about the injury until much later. He didn't want sympathy. He didn't want pity. He wanted to be known for what he could do, not for what he had overcome. But when the story finally came out, it only made his legacy stronger. Because now we understood. Bruce Lee wasn't a superhero born with gifts. He was a man who faced the same fear, the same doubt, the same pain, and chose to fight anyway. In a world obsessed with perfection, Bruce Lee showed us the beauty of the comeback. The quiet, lonely, disciplined comeback. He showed us that success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about what you survive. And he survived. Not just the injury, but the fear, the loss, the stillness. And he emerged with a fire that burned brighter than ever. Today, when people throw punches in a dojo, when they quote, "Be water, my friend," when they admire his legacy, they're seeing the man who rose from a broken back. They're seeing the comeback, not just the kicks. The wisdom, not just the speed. That's Bruce Lee's real superpower. Not just to fight, but to rise. So if you're facing something right now, an injury, a loss, a heartbreak, a failure, remember this. Bruce Lee was told he'd never fight again. And instead of accepting that, he turned it into fuel. He laid in that bed and wrote his legacy. He refused to quit. And when he came back with more than muscle. He came back with meaning. Because greatness isn't how high you fly. It's how hard you rise when you're grounded. And no one rose quite like Bruce Lee. Narrator cues ***. Bruce Lee didn't come back for the spotlight. He came back to prove that no obstacle is final. Not pain, not failure, not even a broken spine. His story isn't just about martial arts. It's about breaking limits, rewriting the rules, and becoming more than what the world expected. So when life knocks you down, when it says, "You're done," remember Bruce. Remember that greatness isn't born in the spotlight. It's born in the silence, in the struggle, in the decision to rise again. This was Bruce Lee's greatest fight, and he won it without throwing a single punch.